Attack speed is weird. I noticed something was up when I hopped on the wiki to confirm Commando's attack rates for a video idea that I had. 6 shots per second for his primary attack and a base of 6 shots for his special. Cool, I thought, just as I remembered. However, wanting to be as precise as possible, I then looked for additional info on suppressive fire's scaling aside from just fires more shots with more attack speed. You don't say. So I took a quick glance into the tips section, and while I didn't find exactly what I was looking for, I instead found something much more interesting. Suppressive fire can be used to briefly gain a burst of procs, but it should be noted, as double tap always has a faster fire rate, it is more effective to constantly fire double tap for procs instead, as double tap always has a faster fire rate. Huh, that's odd, I said to myself. I've played a lot of Commando, like a lot of Commando, and without a doubt suppressive fire sure feels like it's firing more shots off than the primary when I'm in the game, but hey, I don't have the numbers to back that up, so it must just be a feeling. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the numbers. Before I get into it, I'm purely showcasing attack rate in this video and not overall proc efficiency, so things such as survivor level, damage values, and proc coefficient are entirely irrelevant. I am only concerned about how fast the hits are pumping. All the footage you're about to see was tested as follows. Using some mods, I went to the Lunar Scav stage and bumped the in-game time and stage count to absurdly high amounts to ensure that I had the chunkiest cute little target dummy as possible. Then I capped my bleed and attacked for 10 seconds straight, or in the case of suppressive fire, just, fired it. This was the easiest way to determine how many shots have been fired in a specific time frame, as a new stack of bleed was applied every time an attack hit. All that was left was to take the footage into editing, line up the initial bleed frame perfectly, jump to the 10-second mark, and then see the total number of bleeds after exactly 10 seconds. By then dividing that stack count by 10, we now have the stacks applied per second, which again is the same thing as shots per second in this case. And voila, a frame perfect representation of attack speed in Risk of Rain 2, or basically frame perfect. I record at 60 FPS, and I think the game's tick rate is slightly higher than that, so the numbers here, especially at the start, may be a tiny bit off, but it really does not change anything. Also, the discrepancies you're about to see, let me assure you, are not explained by this potential frame gap. Starting here with the default attack speed. After 10 seconds of firing, Commando applied 61 stacks of bleed with his primary, equaling 6.1 shots per second. Remember that the wiki claimed 6 shots per second by default, so hey, that's close enough for me. And before you type, it actually hit 61 stacks a frame before the 10-second mark, so it's definitely firing faster than 6. For suppressive fire, 6 stacks of bleed were applied in 35 frames, or 0.583 seconds. This is equal to 10.29 shots per second. That's the 6 stacks divided by 0.583 seconds. That's already 68% faster than double tap, by the way. All right, let's go ahead and start adding some attack speed. I will only be using syringes for the time being, as all increases to attack speed are additive except for one. Ooh, foreshadowing. Ooh. Each syringe grants 15% increased attack speed, so with 5 syringes, we are at 75% increased attack speed, or simply as the Better UI mod tells us, 1.75 attack speed overall. Wait, but Woolie, if you already know exactly what your attack speed is, isn't it just simple multiplication with the baseline values you just told us to then figure out how many shots you'll fire now?
That makes sense to me.
That's what I initially thought, yeah. But as I said at the start of the video, in reality, it truly is weird. With 5 syringes, double tap fired 86 shots over 10 seconds, or 8.6 per second. If we then use the formula just described with 6.1 as the base shots per second, multiplying it by 1.75, the increased attack speed, gives us 10.68 shots per second on paper. But in the game, we are under the projected 10.68, instead sitting at just 8.6. That's a 24% difference. Okay, let's see what happens with suppressive fire. If we take the base of 10.29 shots per second and then multiply that by 1.75, we get a projected 18 shots per second. In game, it fired 10 shots in just 0.617 seconds, equaling 16.2 shots per second. That's not too far off, but it's still not at the projected amount. Wait, what if we just look at the number of shots fired and disregard the rate at which they came out? Okay, suppressive fire shoots a base of 6 shots, so if we multiply that by 1.75, we get a projected 10.5 shots in total. total. Hold on, how many stacks do we get again? 10. Interesting. Only seeing 10 stacks in the game makes sense because we can't apply half of a stack of bleed, so then it's highly likely that the game is lining up exactly with the projected amount. Turns out it is indeed lining exactly up. With 20 syringes and attack speed of 4, the projected amount of shots fired is 24, and the game shows exactly 24. With 5 attack speed, the projected is 30, the game is 30. With 7 attack speed, projected is 42, game is 42. 10 speed, 60 projected, 60 in the game. So on and so forth. I tested this until a whopping 151 attack speed, 15,000%, and at this speed, the projected amount of shots is 906, and in the game, well, would you look at that? Fun fact, you can make suppressive fire last as long as you would like with enough attack speed, but the stacks it applies per second will never go above 60. This breakpoint of 60 stacks per second is first achieved with an attack speed of 7 and persists for every other higher value. However, the duration of suppressive fire continues to go up with more attack speed. This means you can get infinite uptime on the ability, where by the time the ability is done casting, it is entirely off of cooldown and ready for round 2. The closest I bothered getting to timing this breakpoint was at an attack speed of 91.9, or, just a measly 606 syringes, just the usual amount you'll see in a run. This made suppressive fire last 9.15 seconds, and with a cooldown of 9 seconds, made it permanently available. Also, it fired 551 shots, equaling again 60 per second, just in case you didn't believe me the first time. But okay, let's move it way back here. Remember, the initial claim was that double tap always fires faster than suppressive fire. Okay, how does this hold up? When we get to ludicrously high amounts of attack speed with double tap, just like we did with suppressive fire, is it the same breakpoint of 60 shots reached per second? I don't know how else to break it to you, but no, not even close. With 2.5 attack speed, double tap fired 120 shots, or 12 per second. With 4 speed, 151 shots, or 15.1 per second. 10 speed, 201 stacks, or 20.1 per second. 16 speed, also 201 stacks, 20.1 per second. 31 speed, 201 stacks, or 20.1 per second. All right, take this. 76 speed. 201 stacks, 20.1 per second. Gentlemen, I believe we call this an endpoint. No matter what I did, Commando's primary attack never went above 20 shots per second, period. You remember that foreshadowing from before? Yeah, Spinal Tonic's 70% increased attack speed, those are some big old air quotes around that one, is actually 70% more attack speed. It is multiplicative with your other sources. And this is also true for every type of boost the tonic grants, which is why it's so dang powerful. This means that whatever your attack speed is, when you pop the tonic, it is then multiplied by 1.7. This is reflected here easily with the UI mod. I have 60 syringes, which is an increase of 900%, or an attack speed of 10, and you can clearly see that the tonic boosts that 10 up to 17. Without the tonic, double tap fired 20 shots per second at an attack speed of 10, and with the tonic, that same 10 attack speed went up to 17, but still only fired 20 shots per second. However, and here's where it gets really interesting, if we go all the way back down to an attack speed of just 1, meaning no increase whatsoever, and then pop a tonic, you'd expect that 1 attack speed to go to 1.7, right? Okay, cool, that's exactly what happens in the game. Off to a good start. Remember, at 1 attack speed, Commando fired 6 shots per second. It was actually 6.1, but let's just drop the change here. So with the tonic's 70% increase, you would then expect 10.2 shots per second. That's 8.6. I told you it was gonna get weird, didn't I? Now, this 1.7 attack speed with tonic does line up with the 1.7 attack speed without the tonic. Both of those values equate to 86 stacks in 10 seconds, or 8.6 per second. But the question is, why is the base value, 6 shots per second, not accurately reflected by increases to attack speed? You'd think that a 70% increase to attack speed would equate to a 70% increase in shots fired, right? I mean, I just proved that the game does calculate this correctly with suppressive fire, so why doesn't it do that here with double tap? What the heck is going on? To be real with you, I haven't got a single clue. Seriously, I straight up have no idea what's going on. The next logical step would then be to say, okay, maybe this is an incident isolated to the Commando. All right, let's hop on over to 2 other survivors with sustained primary attacks, Huntress and Multi. With an attack speed of 1, Huntress stacks 20 bleeds, or 2 per second. With an attack speed of 4, 66 stacks, or 6.6 per second. We're already off track. 8.5 speed, 121 stacks, 12.1 per second. 13 speed, 152 stacks, 15.2 per second. 27.25 speed, speed, 201 stacks, 20.1 per second. 29.8 speed, also 201 stacks, 20.1 per second. I think we see a trend, but 30.25 speed, 301 stacks, 30.1 per second. And this breakpoint continues for 34.75 speed, 46 speed, and then another whopping 151 speed. It seems that the Huntress's breakpoint is higher than Commando's, but still a hard cap nonetheless at 30.1. Tonic again does not change any of these breakpoints. And for our favorite robot, Multi, 126 stacks or 12.6 per second with an attack speed of 1, 314 stacks or 31.4 per second at 2.5 speed. Wait, hold up. Could it be? 2.5 attack speed, multiply the base of 126 stacks by 2.5 and 315. 314, 315. That's good enough for me, baby. So, Multi seems to be working correctly. Risk of Rain 2, what the heck are you doing to me? So let's do some more. For attack speed, 501 stacks, 50.1 per second. Oh gosh, oh geez, it's actually lining up. Take some fractions, silly game. Let's see what happens now. 4.45 attack speed, 558 stacks, 55.8 per second. Oh my gosh, 5.5 attack speed. 601 stacks, 60.1 per second. 8.5 speed, 601 stacks, 60.1 per second. Dang it. Yeah, it turns out that both Huntress and Multi suffer from the same fate as Commando. Obviously, their numbers are different, but the result is the same. Attack speed kind of just does whatever it wants. So what is the moral of this story? If you have a gut feeling, it's probably for a good reason. Mathematical formulas and projections don't always reflect reality. Don't blindly trust figures because they simply claim to be authoritative. In other words, do your own research. This would apply to me as well. And finally, suppressive fire is at worst 68% better and at best 3 times better than double tap. Also, frag grenades suck. What do you guys think is going on? Seriously, I want to know because I have no idea. Tell me your thoughts with a like or dislike on the video and a comment below. You can check out my stream at twitch.tv/Woolie Gaming and consider joining our Discord server as well. Thank you for watching, and console boys, your time has almost come for the anniversary.